Hello everyone and welcome to a special eGaming desk interview. Today we are joined by a very, very special guest that really does not need an introduction. But for the purposes of our viewers, Arabian, please could you give a brief introduction to yourself?
I'm known as OG Arabian Prince, aka Professor X, one of the founding members of the rap group NWA, technologist, futurist, video game aficionado, all those things. Yeah, that's me.
Brilliant. And there's been some exciting news this week. You've teamed up with Black Dog Ventures to launch an eSports consultancy. Would you be able to provide some details about this?
Yeah, so I got some buddies over at Black Dog Ventures that, they do a lot of these things, kind of like they call them VC fast pitch, but it's more like a Shark Tank kind of thing for startups or companies that are trying to get funding. And I partnered with them on a VC fast pitch about a month and a half ago. I'm friends with the mayor of this city here in Los Angeles called Garden Grove. And we got together and started doing some things. And by our interaction, and we saw we had a lot of things in common, we decided to put together this e-sport consultancy, Black Dog Gaming. They already had it. They had already been doing some little things, and they needed some support. So I'm like, hey, I'm all in. I'm already in the esports space, doing a lot of things. Let's partner up and do some things.
And you touched on a nice point there. You're already involved with esports, and I know that you've been creating an esports league, correct?
Yeah, working on some esports league stuff, on the celebrity side of things, because, there's a lot of stuff out there on the pro level. There's some amateur stuff going on, and, us celebrities, we're gamers too. So it's one of those things where, hey, why can't we have our own league and put something together where we all get together and do some crazy gaming stuff as well. Yeah.
So is it fair to say that we'll be seeing you in the esports scene soon?
Oh yeah, and what the crazy thing about it is I actually used to be in the esports scene, man, years ago. I used to be a pro player back in the days of Quake Live. Well, I play Quake Live now, but back in the days of Quake and Doom and Castle Wolfenstein and a lot of the early first person shooters and stuff. So I've been, either playing pro gaming or developing games for the last, 35, 36 years.
Yeah, and I mean, many people know you for your music, but you've been involved with technology and video games for just as long. What was it that first drew you into video games?
The fact that, and this is the honest truth, I always tell the story that, when we first started DJing and making records, we would always go out at the parties in the clubs, and we'd be partying, and everybody's drinking and smoking and having a good time. But when the early game systems kind of popped up in the arcades, it was a switch. People stopped partying and wanted to go to the arcade. People wanted the old little handheld Coleco, baseball and football. Fools was rushing back to the room or rushing back to the tour bus to play video games. And I saw that as like, man, this is like the new crack. How do I get in? How do I become a part of this early on? And I kind of started wrapping my head around it, and every royalty check I would get, every little money I would get, I would buy a computer or try and learn how to do, I want to do this gaming thing. So I taught myself how to code. I taught myself how to do, at that time it was sprite animation, and then later on, 3D animation and visual effects, just so I could be in that, and just got lucky and was in the right place at the right time and got involved, man, and the rest is history.
It certainly is, and you've not stopped being involved with sort of innovating and creating new technology. And I mean, recently you helped launch the mClassic for the Nintendo Switch. Could you?
Oh yeah, it's kind of cool that you guys would give me a shameless plug, and I had to pull out the mClassic. Yeah, this is my new product, mClassic, and what this is, man, it's I think I got one that's open over here, so people can see this. This is a prototype, but this little device, man, is it's an upscaler. It's an HDMI upscaler, and you plug this into any video game console, and it will up-res your graphics. You say if you're playing something that's 720p, it'll bring it up to full HD in real time, or if it's something that's HD, it can take it all the way up to 4K in real time. So, as we all know, a lot of people have 4K video monitors or 4K TVs, but we don't have much 4K content out there. So it was one of those things where I wanted to do more with what I had, and I found this amazing company called Marseille, and they had created this processing chip that actually did that. And they had released another product that was doing okay in the market space, but I had an idea to redesign it because I'm a designer and make something that was going to go viral. And my first foray into that, and I was trying to see if I can find it, was to make something for the Nintendo Switch, because I love the Nintendo Switch. I'm a RPG fanatic, Zelda, Borderlands that just came out. I haven't even bought Borderlands yet because I got too much stuff to do, and I know if I play it, I'm going to go dark for 3 months. So I wanted to make something to make my Nintendo Switch look better. And I found this company. I'm like, man, let's partner. I got some ideas. And initially, and check this, I'm going to give you guys an exclusive. Nobody's seen this, what I got in my hand right now. And this is actually probably the next product. It was supposed to be the first product, but we had some issues with the way Nintendo managed their powering of the Nintendo Switch. They didn't follow the protocols. And I know I'm sounding like a little tech geek nerd, but they didn't follow the protocols of USB-C. They have their own kind of weird protocol for powering the Nintendo Switch. So it was going to take us a little longer to figure out how they did that. So my initial design was this, which was going to be a Nintendo Switch dock. So this was the initial design, and no one's seen this. Like, this has never been seen before, but, and I don't know if you can see my crazy, this is my lab I'm in. Like, if you look over here, I got freaking, airbrushing right behind me, 3D printing, over there, DJ stuff. I mean, I build custom PCs. I'm like this kind of mad Willy Wonka scientist cat that just, I'm a prototyper, I'm a designer, I'm just always trying to create some new product.
I mean, the mClassic sounds really good, and I personally can't wait to try it out. And so let's go back. Sorry, carry on.
I'll send you one.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. And just to rewind it back to Black Dot Gaming, how closely will you be working with them?
Oh, no. So I'm going to handle pretty much hands-on the day-to-day of the eSports side of things. Like, they'll focus more on the funding side and the management side of startups when it comes to esports and gaming, because there's a lot of companies out there trying to get into this business, but they don't know how. And we've looked at so many companies fail over the years. I mean, they get big funding, everybody's happy. Oh, we got a new esport company, they get all of this infusion of cash, but they don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to deal with the day-to-day of just a company. And then you got esports on top of it, which is so new. So we're going to be that consultancy firm that helps them get over those humps and, be successful, and at the same time grow something that's meaningful in the esports space. And I'll be hands-on, man, with that on the day-to-day.
I mean, that's amazing, and you've hit the nail on the head there. There's so many esports teams and companies that will launch without much sort of expertise into what they're doing, and you seem like the perfect sort of person to come along and help coach them. I mean, you're an entrepreneur. I mean, you're involved in so many companies. You've founded a lot. And one thing I am keen to know is that we've seen recently a lot of sort of music stars start moving into the esports space. Do you think this is a growing trend and one that will continue?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the trend in general, celebrities want to be entrepreneurs. They have the money. A lot of them don't have the knowledge, so either they're just saying, oh, I want to be a part of an esports team because this is where the money is. I see, they said this year, or is it next year, we're coming up, esports is going to be $1 billion a year business, and it's going to just grow exponentially over time. So everybody wants to get in, and that's the problem, is everybody wants to get in, but since it's so new, no one knows where to get in, how to get in, where the money is. A lot of money's going in, but not a lot of money's coming out. So yeah, a lot of people are really interested in this space, man, and it's going to be an interesting few years. And we in the U.S. are so far behind Asia when it comes to gaming. If you think about it, there's like 1 billion people playing video games in Asia, and it's kind of like we are still infants when it comes to that. And mobile gaming, like, a lot of people are mad at the fact that a lot of companies are switching over to mobile gaming. Like, one of my favorite games was by Blizzard, Diablo, and they just announced Diablo's only going to be on mobile, and a lot of people freaked out and got mad. I kind of got mad too, I ain't gonna lie. But they looked at the bigger picture as their business, their company, and they're like, hey, how can we make the most money off of this? And we go mobile because that's where everybody is, on mobile, you know. And it's the future. I think what's going to happen is everything's going to go the way of kind of the Nintendo Switch, where, you know, you'll have something on your mobile device, a game, and when you're playing it when you're out and about, but when you get home, boom, you just kind of plug it in, or you stream it to your TV set and keep playing. So it's going to be the same. It's just going to be this little changeover that's got to come.
I mean, as someone who's very passionate about developing technology, could you see yourself ever developing a console?
You know what? We had talked about that, but I mean, there's the big three, you know, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, you know, and then you've got the lower tiers. You still got the Ataris floating around there, and the Segas and stuff like that. I don't know if we want to get involved in that. My idea is to be just more on, I'm a future tech guy, like, what can I do to make things better? And I kind of look at, I say with everything, with music, that's why I think me and a lot of my partners, you know, who I've worked with over the years have been successful in the music industry, is there's a formula to everything. Everything has a formula. And for any of you startups out there, or you up and coming entrepreneurs, or you young kids, figure out a formula that works and stick to it. And if you look at everybody from the Elon Musk to the Richard Bransons, all of them, they find a formula and they just repeat that formula. So for me, it's all about looking at what's next and how I can make something better. For instance, if you think about, and a lot of people don't think about this because it's something that we use every day, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Google, all of these things we use, they're all billion-dollar companies. What did they do different than each other? I mean, they're all manipulating photos and text. I mean, it's like, there really isn't any great, amazing technology. They didn't create cold fusion or all, you know, they're just like, okay, we're going to take text and photos and interactions between people and do it in a slightly different way and become a billion-dollar company. So my thing is to look at a market, eSports, and look at a void and where I can insert myself and go, hey, we're going to get in there and we're going to tackle this area and make it better. And another thing, I'm not even sure if you know about this, we're working on the other side of esports, which is the health, the wellness, and the nutritional side of esports, because that's very important, because these people are playing 16 to 20 hours a day and they're sitting in the chair and not moving. So we got to figure that side out, or else we're going to create a bunch of zombies. You know?
Yeah. So do you have any plans that you can reveal to us about that side of the esports industry? Okay.
Yes. Me and a couple of my buddies, we got something coming major. And I got it actually sitting right in front of me too, and it's kind of like, I don't know if I can tell you, but we are about to hit that side of the industry heavily. Okay. There'll probably be an announcement at this year's CES show in Las Vegas in January. I'll probably make an announcement on that side of things.
Okay, well, I'll be sure to keep my eyes peeled for that one. And you were speaking about how you look for sort of emerging tech, and I know that coming soon you're going to be refereeing a blockchain cage match. Can you provide some details on that?
Yeah, so here's another thing, man. I've been in the blockchain space forever, you know, back in its infancy in 2008, 2009, something like that. We were experimenting back then with blockchain, with Bitcoins and cryptocurrency for in-game interactions and transferring of goods, let's say. You know, like I have a sword in, you know, EverQuest, and you want my sword, and I'm going to sell you my sword. How can I get it to you? And how it was done, it was either through eBay or Craigslist, or you would just go to somebody's house and say, hey, here's $100 in the game, walk over to my character and hand me the sword. But there was a lot of fraud in that too. You know, people would get money and they would never give up the equipment. So we were kind of playing around with those kind of interactions in the blockchain years and years ago, man. So finally, the blockchain has gotten more robust. A lot of more people are getting involved with tokens and you know, smart ledgers and things like that. So some people reached out to me for the music tectonics thing, and they were like, hey, we got an idea. Why don't we put on this match between the two factions, the two sides, the people that are for blockchain, the people that are against blockchain, and just get them in a room and just let them go at it, and and you can be the referee. So I'm like, yeah, I like that. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, I'm really looking forward to that one. So when you're talking about the in-game transfers, are you talking about non-fungible tokens there, NFTs? Yeah. So are you very pro blockchain gaming?
Oh, of course, most definitely. I think that's going to be the transparent future. It's going to keep people honest, and at the same time, give value to items that non-tangible items will be tangible in the sense, more or less. I've often said that a lot of people don't understand. Like, I'm a big sneakerhead, right? And as you can see, I'm a big SpongeBob head. If you look up there, I collect SpongeBob. But it's, what is an item worth to you? The item is worth whatever the person who wants that item deems what it's worth. Like a pair of Yeezy shoes, Kanye West sneakers, what are they worth? They're worth $200 when you buy them. But on the aftermarket, they're worth $1,000, $2,000, whatever a person will pay for those shoes. Same thing in gaming. What is an item worth in game? It's the rarity of it and what it's, ultimately somebody who wants it really, really bad. And man, as gaming gets bigger, I think that gaming is what's going to take blockchain over to the next level. Everybody keeps talking about banking and, other types of things and real estate. And yeah, I'm kind of playing some of those spaces, but I think it's gaming. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I know that one thing a lot of people are excited about NFTs is they will really change the dynamic of microtransactions. And I'm kind of curious, what are your opinions on microtransactions?
Go ahead, finish.
And in that, I mean sort of like on Apex Legends and Fortnite, where they you can only use them in the game right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because I'm a business owner, I'm a technology owner, so I kind of see from the business side of things. I love microtransactions, because that's how companies make money. Like I say again, it's what people want. People want to customize their characters. They want to have something original, and if that comes with a cost, they're going to pay it. I mean, microtransactions will go away when people stop paying for things. Like I see little old ladies, sitting in the airport spending money on Toy Blast and Candy Crush. You know what I mean? A game, I'm looking at that, or you spent like $5 on power-ups for Candy Crush? Like, really? Hey, it's what it is. I think, there's nothing wrong with it. I think as long as people don't go crazy and start getting out of hand and charging tons of money for stuff, I think it'll be fine. And there just needs to be education with the parents. I think a lot of parents don't understand. Kids are just clicking a button and buying stuff. So yeah.
Okay, and this is slightly off topic, but I'm also curious about this. Do you see blockchain as having any value in the music industry?
Yes, most definitely. Actually, a company reached out to me yesterday that I guess they're going to be at this conference, and they have something in the music side. I have a couple companies I'm on the board of that are doing stuff in blockchain music. Like I said, it's definitely all about protection and transparency. One thing I see is, especially coming from the group that I came from and in the era I came from, and even to this day, there are a lot of people in the music industry still getting ripped off with what they create. And we as artists have to be able to protect our intellectual property. It's not like we're out building something that I have like a, tangible item. I can protect this through copyright. I can protect this because I can physically sell this in the store. But music is something, and lyrics and, stuff like that is hard to protect, man. And what's bad is the way that people get paid now is record companies pay an individual or a company. Now, that company or individual may be your manager, it may be the record label that you're under. A lot of times that money doesn't ever trickle down to the artist. So, the way the blockchain would work is all of this information on everybody who's involved in that particular song or that particular composition is etched blockchain or stamped on that blockchain, so that when those payouts come, basically how it could happen is, okay, Arabian Prince wrote the music to the song or did the beat, and he wrote 10% of the lyrics, so he's entitled X amount of money off of this song. Instead of having to wait for that money to go through the record company, through this person, through that person, one person gets this big check and go, I'm gonna buy a car. I'm not gonna let it trickle down. Arabian Prince, we already got this calculation in the blockchain. Send that money directly to him. So every time this song sells or every quarter, he directly gets his money. And I think that's how it should be, man, is take the human factor out of things, because humans are weak. We are weak. Everyone means well. Like I really believe that everybody has a good heart in the beginning. But let's say you have a song that blows up and you get a check for $20 million, your good heart turns bad really, really quick, because you start thinking about that Ferrari and that big house you can buy, and it happens, man. So I think blockchain will help fix that.
Okay, brilliant. And one thing I'm sure everyone is dying to know is what does come next for Arabian Prince?
Man, I'm gonna keep creating, keep innovating. One of my first songs back in the day was called, I never knew, I just called it Innovator. And then I did a song followed called Innovative Life. My first song was called Strange Life. So I'm this guy, man. I'm just all over the place doing new things and creating new IP. And one thing that I'm really passionate about right now is giving back and creating technology centers for youth and diversity across the world, man. And getting these young kids to understand that they are the future. They can create anything that they want to create. And there are no boundaries when it comes to technology. Yeah, there's STEM and STEAM and all of these, curriculums out there. But break the mold of curriculum, break the mold of how we learn and create, be the future. Because think about this, man, I say this to these kids and they go, oh yeah. If you look at the Richard Bransons and Elon Musk and the Mark Zuckerbergs and even Bill Gates, they were like 17, 18 years old when they created these technologies. They were like old men. They were young kids that had these ideas. Even Steve Jobs, young hippie kid that created this platform that's now Apple. So there's these kids that's sitting in their room, and I call kids prisoners. Like, they're prisoners. They're in a house. They're locked in their room. They don't want to listen to their parents. They're prisoners. They're in there trying to figure out a way to get out. And that's where all these technologies come from. So stop, holding the next generation down and let them free and let them create. So that's what I'm trying to do, man, is build platforms for the next generation to create, so I can make them money, so they can take care of me and my old ass when I can't work no more. So, yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's all brilliant. And we're starting to come to the end of my questions. And what I like to do at the end is ask you if there's anything that you'd like to say that I actually haven't covered in my questions so far.
Nah, man, I think we did a good job. And all I got to say is, I believe that everything is tech. And this is my fundamental belief, is everything is technology: food, fashion, sports, music, entertainment. Everything is tech. And if we start to think about that, like, you drink a bottle of water, right? It's funny. We laugh now that we buy bottle. I was at the airport. I spent like $8 on a bottle of water. Like 20 years ago, there was no such thing. It was like, water. Okay, go to a tap. It's water, whatever. But that's a technology. They build, plants to make bottled water. So everything is tech. So for a parent that's saying that, I want my kid to stop playing video games, and I'm going to go back to video games for a second. We need to educate the parents, not only the kids, on what new jobs there are out there. There are hundreds of game jobs out there now in eSports and video games in general. For a kid that you may call a loser, and because all he wants to do is play video games, he's not going to go to college. All he wants to do is sit in his room. Well, if that's what he wants to do for a living, go get his ass a job being a game tester. Because I got buddies that were game testers in the late 80s and the early 90s. These dudes are the producers on freaking Call of Duty and all of the big games. They're making millions of dollars a year now as producers of these games because they were the professionals. And your kid sitting in his room is a game professional. And if that's what he wants to do, go get him a job and a career in that, because there's hundreds of them out there.
I could not agree more. And thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. This has been a fantastic interview. You've given us so much content that I know our readers and viewers are going to love, and we're all really looking forward to seeing what comes next with Black Dog Gaming, what you're doing with the eSports side of it. It's all really, really exciting stuff.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. You guys have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it, guys. There's all the latest from Arabian Prince. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Please leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.